what intrigued me about going out for this role, or even just going out for this project, I wasn't even necessarily thinking about the role of James Joyce, but I wanted to participate in the project because I love the time period, I love the film and the art and the poetry, and the literature of that time period. I didn't really know that I was going to play James Joyce. In fact, I was called in to play someone else, a couple of other people, and I was willing to play anybody. But now that I'm playing James Joyce, of course, it's an amazing role. He represents one of the strongest examples of the absolute change in modern literature and in modern art that has occurred since World War I. This astonishing destruction of that war changed how people felt about the world, how they felt about concepts like honor, democracy, freedom, truth. We needed to start writing something that reflected almost the destruction of literature. Joyce says in the film that he has the words, he's just looking for their perfect order in a sentence. And Wilfred Owen said he is looking for the least possible discrepancy between his thought and the written word. And I think that's basically all what people are trying to do with one paint stroke and a frame of film. They're looking for that moment that tells the story simply, and at the same time it will resound. What's amazing about him is his strength, his single-mindedness in his own work. The traditional story of a beginning, a middle, and end. Well, Joyce wanted to destroy that, as much as painters wanted to destroy the traditional idea that I'm going to paint a figure and it's going to represent a figure. And instead they started to chop it up into Cubism, or they started to chop it up into something they call Dadaism. Playing Joyce, it's almost like playing modern art, the modern artist as Ulysses was seen in the Odyssey by Homer. This is a person who goes on a journey. And Joyce was a man who felt that he needed to go on a journey from Dublin out into the world so that he could look back at where he came from. And that's how I feel Joyce in this film sees himself. That he is on a journey, and in this crucial moment where he decides he has to once again leave a city, Zurich and Trieste, and to move on to Paris, is just another step in this journey of his, in search of, and which is an unending search for himself and for a way of expressing himself that he wouldn't be able to find back in Dublin. Our dilemma as artists is that it's all been done. I think we have drifted into a place where anything goes. A man like Damien Hirst, I think his name is, in modern art, could put an entire shark in a tank of formaldehyde or something and put it on display, and it's
absurd.
That's what you have to do in order to get noticed or something. Or you have to just take a photograph of a crucifix in a pile of, in a pond of piss or something. I don't know what you have to do anymore. But I don't think those are the things that I would necessarily do. But in playing Joyce, we forget that he had just as hard of a time as anyone else ever has. He may be the first one doing this, so he doesn't have no one saying, oh, somebody's already done that before. So his difficulty is still fighting some obstruction out there. At the center of Joyce is someone who's been blocked by his religious upbringing. He's been blocked by traditions and literature. He's been blocked by his friends and family who say you can't write like that. He's been blocked by critics and editors who say you can't go that far, or you can't say that in a book. And that's what he has to overcome. And sometimes we look back and feel how fortunate he was to live at a time where it seems kind of open and people really like his work. We wish we lived back then sometimes so that we could feel that newness happen. He was using his thoughts and he was not editing himself.